morning and welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by our friends at the Get Go Cafe and Market over the shoulder, where they are not only open, but they are offering 7-inch subs for $4.99. And even in end times, that's a pretty good deal, Alex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, what else you got to get for $4.99 nowadays?
Where else can you go to spend $4.99?
That too.
So let's you
remember places? I remember places.
Places that used to be open. Well, we'll get there again someday. And on that note, it'll be baseball, apparently, that ushers us right back into it. At least
as it should be.
As it's starting to feel that way, though. I'm being serious because, and I don't mean Major League Baseball. I'm talking about the KBO, the Korean Baseball Organization. Yeah. They're 5 days away from preseason, they're calling it.
Yeah, a short preseason, and then they're going to start the regular season in early May.
Very early May. That's the outlook that they've got right now. Setting aside the fact that ESPN has seriously pursued the broadcast rights for these games, how important will that be? How many eyes will be on this?
I mean, the literal answer will be if ESPN does pull the trigger, they're able to broadcast those games, and even if they do, I mean that's a 13-hour time zone difference. I mean, there's going to be logistical problems to get through, but overall, yeah, I mean, I know I would watch it if it was available out here in the West. And I'm not just saying that as, a baseball obsessed, American, just as someone who is craving sports, as someone
only
who is
only you
sense of normalcy.
Only you could take that question literally. It's not even all what I meant, but I just let you keep going. I didn't mean who would watch it. Nobody would watch it.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would.
Just you and like 5 other people. I meant
there are dozens of us. Dozens.
Figurative world watching to see how they handle and navigate these unusual circumstances. Because if you can navigate it in South Korea, you watch how they do it, and you see that there are, no particularly dangerous repercussions from doing it a certain way. What stops you from doing it anywhere? You know what I mean? If somebody's got to go first, if they go first, everyone, I guarantee you, Rob Manfred and you and like 5 other people are going to be watching these games.
Well, I'm not sure about Rob Manfred.
Yeah, right.
Scheme of things here. No, but I mean, South Korea, the curve has been, it's curved, it's flattened. It's what we've been talking about, for past month or so, what the goal has been. We're not where Korea is right now, but, if they're able to prove that, okay, whenever we get to this point, we could bring back baseball, that's what you want to see. That's what I think people are really going to be looking for in sports. I mean, it's going to be empty stadiums. It's going to be, all these other provisions that a month ago sounded like, okay, this might happen to foregone conclusion. The season will not start. Nobody's going to have, fans in the seats for months, even if there is some games going on.
But when you have Dr. Anthony Fauci, who, setting aside all politics and everything else, remains pretty much the unquestioned foremost authority on disease and disease control in our country, when he comes right out and says, yeah, I think that would work. We can get sports back if you put it in, I believe the term he used was a biosphere, which sounds really sci-fi, right?
I don't think I ever wrote biosphere until like a week ago, and I've written it half a dozen times.
It clears the spell check, pal. If it's okay with Dr. Fauci, why isn't it okay with everybody? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clayton Kershaw made clear, I think, that he will not be participating in the event that baseball just goes to Arizona and operates out of a single hotel. I don't believe him, like, at all. He is due whatever the prorated version will be of a $31 million salary. He'll still be paid the same 5-6 figure rate, whatever it is, per pitch. All for the inconvenience of playing baseball and staying at what undoubtedly will be some 7-star Ritz-Carlton in the Phoenix metropolitan area. I can't imagine players staying away unless there are personal mitigating circumstances. I really can't.
I mean, you bring up the salary for Clayton, but does he really need another nickel? I mean, he's set up.
Why did he sign a contract?
Because he could, but it's whatever he wants to do with the money. The other aspect of it is, whenever we make this biosphere and whatever in Arizona, they're not going to be allowed to be with their families. They're not going to be allowed to be anywhere. It is literally, you're going to be here 4 months. And yeah, maybe we'll go back to some semblance of normalcy and finish the season in Los Angeles or Pittsburgh or wherever your home city is. But at least for a couple months at the beginning, you're going to be gone from everyone. And I could see where, someone who's made his hundreds of millions, maybe that's not worth, a couple extra millions to miss time with your family.
Maybe you're right. I could see an extenuating circumstance such as Garrett Cole, for example, and his wife are expecting this summer. And even though he's making more than Clayton Kershaw this season, he has that's why what I was referring to when I said mitigating circumstances. I don't think you're going to see some grand exodus from this stage. And remember this too about Clayton Kershaw and a lot of these guys, but Kershaw specifically, since he was the one that brought this up. He's 31 years old. He's considered to be still one of the best pitchers in the game. He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
Without really digging into it all, anytime you're in that bracket, you've got to be considered for that, even at an early stage. If he sits out a year, that's not going to help. So I don't know that it's just going to be about money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think the better argument would be someone like Andrew McCutchen, who was on a Hall of Fame path a couple years ago, had a couple down years, and now he's going to probably finish his career on the edge. He's going to be one of those guys who's going to be on the ballot 8, 9, 10 years, regardless if he gets in or not.
He needs every year. Yep.
He's going to need every year. Someone like Clayton, I think he's a Hall of Famer no matter what happens. He could probably hang it up today, and he would at least have my vote whenever I have one, 9 years from now, however long it is for new BBWAA members. But yeah, or how about this, just throwing this out as another argument. Okay, Clayton Kershaw can't make it or decides not to go. The Dodgers version of Clay Holmes all of a sudden has a job.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a couple extra tens of millions for Clayton Kershaw doesn't make a big deal, but 1 year in the majors for the Dodgers version of Clay Holmes could make a huge difference.
But who wants to see anybody's version of Clay Holmes pitching? I'm not following your point here.
The Dodgers have someone in their system. I don't know the Dodgers 40-man, well enough.
It's a lot deeper than Pittsburgh's.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so their version of Clay Holmes is probably like Joe Musgrove or something. But that person is, doesn't have a job right now. But if Clayton Kershaw decides he doesn't want to go to Arizona,
somebody else will play. I'm just saying that you don't want to water down the product.
I think the product will be watered down regardless if they get everyone into that biosphere in Arizona or not.
We'll see. Let's close this one out with something a little bit different here. It was supposed to be Major League Baseball's Jackie Robinson Day on Wednesday. Obviously didn't come off, certainly not the way it normally would with everybody wearing 42 and everything. How do you feel about that sort of thing in general, whether it's Jackie, whether it's Roberto Clemente, retiring numbers like across the board?
I mean, I think there is a line. Like, I know LeBron a couple years ago really advocated, retiring 23 for everyone because that was just, MJ. He was so good, no one will ever equal him. I think that's kind of ridiculous because you really are going to dilute, what numbers are retired over time if you go by a league-wide standard. But Jackie Robinson, at least 42, that has significance besides just out of a baseball sphere. It's, what he meant to the civil rights movement, what he was as a man. Okay, that's why he's put above, the game almost. And that's why they say this.
Why wouldn't that apply to Clemente?
Clemente is basically the same thing for who he was off the field. But I'm not in favor of retiring 21 right now because I don't think Major League Baseball has done a good job honoring Jackie Robinson, ironically, on Jackie Robinson days. And last year was the biggest example I saw whenever they sent out a tweet from the official Major League Baseball account where, it was through Budweiser. It's like, hey, Jackie, this Bud's for you. It's like, oh, Jackie didn't drink, but he was accused of public drunkenness by a racist Army officer. I don't like that. I don't like, toasting a beer to him for that. And I don't want that to happen to Roberto either.
But what if that's just some social media flunky that did that? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that was money exchanged hands for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I just – see, mine isn't that specific. I don't like retiring across the board. The NHL tried that with Wayne Gretzky, and there are exactly 2 teams in the NHL that don't honor 99. One of them is the St. Louis Blues because he played for them like a week and a half before bolting. And the other one is the local franchise, and I don't blame them. They don't make a big splash out of it, but the fact is, if you're not going to honor 66, then why are you honoring 99? 66 is the most talented player who ever lived. You start opening all kinds of boxes with that, and it's not needed. I mean, look, I understand there were a handful of players in baseball that were wearing 42. It wasn't more than that. Jason Schmidt was one of them. There were other players who were African-American players who wore it out of respect. We see that now with 21. There are Latin American players who deliberately choose to wear 21 and honor it that way. And again, I've spoken with the Clemente family about this. They find that to be wonderful. They was, I mean, as much as they were in favor of retiring 21, they also were always honored and flattered whenever there was an opposed, especially well, it had to be an opposing player, couldn't be a Pirate, wearing 21. They thought that was beautiful. Just a great gesture to help keep his legacy alive and right there on the field and not forced.
Yeah, and the Pirates, they've done such a good job honoring the number 21. It's not
beautifully so. Yeah, never crashed, commercialized, nothing, never, no.
Yes, and until I see Major League Baseball treat 42 the same way, I don't want them to get their mitts on 21.